A reminder to all citizens. Early stages of the plague involve coughing and fever. All suspicions of plague, regardless of severity, must be reported. Lockdown in progress. Lethal force has been authorized.
The Gates-Fauci virus has killed nearly 200,000 Americans since the beginning of the plandemic. Murdered, ladies and gentlemen. No justice whatsoever. It's like a new 9/11 every couple of days when bin Laden killed 3,000 Americans. It was war, ladies and gentlemen. And here we get nothing. Nothing. No war, no invasion. They should be invading Bill Gates' compound right now, ladies and gentlemen. There should be a massive raid at the Fauci residence, like Roger Stone. But we're not getting that. We're not getting Hillary for prison. We're not getting justice in this country. Instead, we're getting extermination. The goon squads are coming door to door. And they mean business, ladies and gentlemen. Just wait for it. Hardcore lockdown right now in Sydney. No, Melbourne, Australia. And the action is coming to us soon with Dark Winter. This is Stranger Than Fiction News, broadcasting live. The original channel. We've reached over 1 billion people. Gladio B event after Gladio B event. Mass murder after mass murder. The events change, but the storyline is similar, ladies and gentlemen. And every day that goes by that these criminals aren't rounded up, that's a threat to our national security. Obviously, this government has no interest in protecting its citizens. Otherwise, they never would have let this virus in. Instead, they're on the rampage. Now you are the Iraqi. Now you are the Kurd. Are you ready for the genocide? They're ready for you. They've infected you with their virus. Everybody's been infected with this virus. Whether you feel it or not is a different story. When people get infected with HIV, they don't necessarily feel it right away. Some people do. But have no doubt, they've infected you with their virus. And many people are in denial. It's like the autism. It's like the brain cancers. You know, people just kind of run around like deer, staring into the headlights. Huh? What's going on? The country's about to elect President Biden. Creeper extraordinaire. It's going to be a massive blowout. Right now, the president is trying to delay the elections. That's certainly not reassuring. And it might not be what you want to hear, but I think you should prepare. You should prepare to grab your ankles and you should get some Astroglide. Don't hold back, ladies and gentlemen. When they knock on the door, you should answer with your cheeks spread wide open. That way they know that you're ready for the penetration. Don't struggle, don't fight, ladies and gentlemen. That's not the American way. You need to go out peacefully into the night, quietly. There's no such thing as freedom in America. There's no such thing as justice, equality, liberty. That does not exist. Don't fall for the trap thinking that, oh, somehow, things are going to get better. No. Your complacency is the answer. Obey. Do you understand, ladies and gentlemen? And if you see, these people running around out there with their masks, don't try and help them. This is part of the plan.
Dr. Fauci gave $3.7 million to the Wuhan laboratory. We paid for it. We paid for the damn virus that's killing us.
Yes, we paid for it. It's excellent. And, they're burying people every day. It's like a new 9/11 every couple days. And the people responsible are coming on television telling you, just wait for the vaccine. What could go wrong? But it's okay. They're censoring everyone. They don't want you to know. And that's, it's better that you don't know that you're going to the gas chamber. That's how the Nazis do it. You saw them burning the Bible, burning books in Portland. That's how the Nazis do it. And so they just bring you into the room and they're like, oh, you're just taking a shower. You're just going to get a vaccine. You're going to feel better. And that's what we're dealing with. It's better that you do know, ladies and gentlemen. That way you can make arrangements and the like. And, look, if you really wanted to survive, I mean, you would have been there for the boogaloo, right? We get people, smart asses, every once in a while that show up into the chat, Where's your boogaloo? Where were you? Where were you for the boogaloo? You didn't show up? You didn't go? Where did you want to go? Huh? Portland? Seattle? They brought the guillotines. It's war over there. I don't know why people are asking me where's the boogaloo? It's erupted in, 4 or 5 major cities. Chicago, Atlanta, Louisville, Seattle, Portland, just to name a few. But people are like, oh, where's the boogaloo? Where the fuck were you? What did you do? Ladies and gentlemen. But you'll have another chance November 3rd when creepy Biden, wins the election. Then you'll be crying, just like those Demoncrats. You'll be crying and you'll be like, what can we do? What's left? And it won't be long after the election that people will understand just how bad things will become. Supermajority, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, creepy Biden, plotting your demise. And let's not forget the, America's favorites, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama. They'll all be back, ladies and gentlemen. In some other news, we had a massive protest in Hollywood, a pedogate protest. All of a sudden, here comes these people. 3 years later, they're like, investigate Pizzagate. So, look, they'll catch up eventually. They'll understand. Welcome to Pedowood, they say. It's an open secret. It's always been an open secret. This has been going on for quite some time. In fact, this epic struggle of good versus evil. I mean, you hear about seances in the White House and all sorts of black magic practitioners dating back to the Lincoln days. Did you hear about Lincoln? There's a reason he got shot. It's not what you think. Although it was a libtard actor. It's always a liberal. It's always an agent of the dark side. Ladies and gentlemen. But, there's a reason why there's a pentagram on the streets of Washington, D.C. And we think that, this is, new. Somehow the evil, the tyranny that we're dealing with is new. But it's been around for as long as this country's been around. It's been around even longer than that. We've never been free, ladies and gentlemen. That pyramid on the back of the dollar bill, that represents New Babylon. It represents the bondage of Egypt. How many people know the story of the chosen people? How they were freed. They were slaves and they were freed from the Egyptian Empire. Anybody know anything about the Egyptian Empire? Anybody know what it means to be a slave? You're going to find out. I mean, hardcore. It's not until people taste tyranny for themselves do they understand why people were fighting for freedom. But you'll understand. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, 2020, and it's the same old song and dance. You've got Luciferian evildoers in control, and they're exterminating people as usual. Now we're dealing with a new invisible enemy, the virus. The virus is out to get you. The Fauci Gates virus that has killed nearly 200,000 Americans already. A new 9/11 every couple of days. When bin Laden did it, we went to war. How come we're not invading Seattle right now? How come we're not invading San Francisco? The Demoncrats are the big benefactors here, ladies and gentlemen. So the
thing that gives you high confidence that it originated in that Wuhan lab?
Martha, there's enormous evidence that that's where this began.
a new 9/11. The planes are 20 miles out. The planes are 10 miles out. You know, we need the Pentagon to invade Washington, D.C. We need military tribunals for all of these war criminals like Nuremberg. That's the only chance we have right now. Something major. Something epic. Bigger than this virus. They unleashed the virus. We need to unleash freedom. Aren't you tired of being terrorized by this system? I know you are. I know you are. That's why you tune into this channel. And we've reached, over 1 billion people over the years that we've been broadcasting. And that's pretty incredible. And, communities like ours have had a huge, transformational influence on the narrative. People are looking at creepy Biden a little differently these days. They're looking at, Hillary a little different these days. They're looking at these death towers a little different these days. And, what kind of America would we be without truthers and free speech? Well, we're about to find out because they're shutting everybody down. And they're burning books and they're burning the Bible and they're calling you Nazis. There's no, debating stupid. You can't win when you're, having an argument with stupid people. Don't even waste your time. But we're essentially dealing with that. And they're in control and they want to exterminate everyone. And look, people will get the message. They've gotten the message. Right now, Fauci Gates is trending everywhere. That's all people really want to talk about. A little Epstein here and there, a little Bill Clinton, But people really want to talk about Gates and Fauci. Look, we've gone from the happy days. Remember the happy days? The Fonz, that whole world. Remember the Brady Bunch? Look at the world today. It's retarded. And it's brought to you by these Demoncrats and these liberals that have strayed away and have turned our country into a black hole, and there's no escape. No escaping the death towers. No escaping the eugenics. No escaping the Sodom and Gomorrah. No escaping the bondage of New Babylon. And let me tell you a secret. I want you to write this down. Because as soon as you hear this, you're going to understand exactly why we're dealing with what we're dealing with. When you commit a crime out there in the city, they're going to take away your freedom. That's called going to jail. That's prison for you. But when you violate the 10 Commandments, when society becomes an abomination, guess what? There goes your freedom too. Closed due to coronavirus. Your world has been shut down. Your world does not exist anymore. You're twice the slave you were yesterday. Why? Because society has broken the law. The law, not a law, the law. And when you start looking at it like that, things make a whole lot more sense. You want to fight the system, you want to fight the evil. You better be preaching the Bible. That's the only way. But as society strays away, we become less free. And the 10 Commandments basically, begins just like that. You were freed from the bondage of Egypt. And here are the conditions for your freedom. The 10 Commandments. How many of you know the 10 Commandments? Ladies and gentlemen, how well do you really know them? We're going to be starting, a Christian Homeland channel to help re-educate and to help lead the way back to the road of prosperity. But we're far away from there right now. And as much as we think that, the solution is somehow like, decapitating all of the evildoers, they're like weeds. More will come back. They spread like a virus. And that's the best way to look at the situation. Not just the Fauci Gates virus, but the demonic virus. Because as people stray away, as people, lose their armor, they become infected. And the darkness takes over. And, at the root of their darkness is misery. Miserable people do miserable things. And, it leads to destruction. So we need a happy and prosperous society. And the only way to get there is right in the Bible, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're missing. And so each and every one of you should be like the disciples. Each and every one of you should be like the apostles, preaching in a heathen world. If they could do it, we could do it. But that is the road to success. And anything else that we try to do, vaccines, more medicines, it's just like a Band-Aid on the wound. It's not going to stop the bleeding. These people aren't prepared to confront what's going on in a way that will make a difference. And as long as they're talking about vaccines, as long as they're talking about hydroxychloroquine or remdesivir, we're never going to find our way back to the world we came from. We're never going to see the Happy Days. We're never going to see the Brady Bunch again, except reruns on television. How many of you, have been watching television, looking at older shows and thinking about, the pre-COVID world? Soon all of those shows will disappear. They don't want people thinking about that. You won't even remember the world without a mask. That's coming. And no matter how much you fight, no matter how much you try to burn down these buildings, which would be a delight, it's never going to bring our world back. We have to take control in a different way. And it really begins with education. We're just filling the minds of our children with all sorts of, hatred and filth and evil. And when they grow up, they're shady, real shady. But there's no cure for the disease in the medicine cabinet. There'll never be a cure for what's going on in the medicine cabinet. Because the real disease isn't the COVID, it's the sin out there. And our society has become so wretched that, it's basically ready to jump off the cliff. Society is ready to implode. The zombie apocalypse, the civil war, full-blown tyranny. I mean, we're swinging right into a very dark period in human history. And leading the way is faithlessness. It's abomination. And if we allow these heathens to remain in control, they're going to drive us all off the cliff. Mass suicide. And so their best weapons, right now are divide and conquer, censorship, misinformation, classic, MK Ultra kind of stuff. But we have to fight back, ladies and gentlemen. We have to take our communities back. We have to take our schools back. And this virus is really a blessing in disguise, because the schools will close, society will close, and people are going to flee these cities, these death traps, and, they're going to found new communities. And that's really going to be the future for everybody's survival. Push the dark side out. Unplug the television. Unplug these death towers and the cell phones and the like. Unplug from the matrix and come back to the real world. And instead of being on your phone and instead of letting, the public schools educate your children, why don't you take their destiny into your own hands? Why don't you take the destiny of this country into your own hands and take it back? These people have stolen it from you. They've stolen everything from you, and they've infected you with their virus, and you're hoping that the vaccine will be the cure. It's just another Band-Aid. There'll be another virus. There'll be another Fauci, another Bill Gates. There'll be more terror until we end this war once and for all. And, these Demoncrats, they're at war. They've declared war. They're deploying weapons. They're victimizing you on their battlefield. And, conservatives are just sitting there like sheeple, taking it, accepting it. And even if some aren't accepting it, they're not at all serious about protecting their freedoms. And it won't be until there's a massive event that people will really, want to try and defend themselves. Maybe it'll be, creepy Biden winning the election. Maybe it'll be a year of watching that dude, run the country into the ground. Maybe it'll be when they, start dragging, people out of their homes and, forcing them into COVID infection centers or stadiums and the like. Maybe the rate of victimization will have to reach, something like autism before people decide that enough is enough. But eventually, the bucket will overflow. Eventually, people will try and survive. And we'll be there to cover the news. Ladies and gentlemen. We've seen so many things since 9/11. Huh? How many things have we seen since 9/11? How long have you guys been watching Stranger Than Fiction news? I mean, if you're on the backup channel, perhaps you've been here a while. Perhaps you've seen some of these stories that we've covered over the years. There's something going on. It's bigger than Gates and Fauci. It's bigger than Washington, D.C. We've got clones. We've got UFOs. We got the works here on planet Earth. And, whatever's going on right now is just another chapter in history. We'll get through it. Fear not, ladies and gentlemen. But remember that faith without works is dead. And we're all expected to participate. We're all expected to sacrifice and suffer, in a sense, through this world, to make it out of the maze, to pass the test. We've been promised a promotion, but nobody said it would be free. And here we are, surrounded by evil, by darkness. And all of you have pretty much experienced the same thing. And let me tell you what you've experienced your whole life. You feel like you're pretty much all alone out there. No matter who you talk to, they don't want to listen. All these people around you, they're working against you. They've been trying to make you feel crazy or stupid, laughing at you, picking on you, isolating you, making you angry. That's what the dark side does. The Bible tells us, many are called, few are chosen. Many are unchosen. Most of the people around you, it's like the Matrix. It's like Agent Smith. They're working against you. They're plugged into the dark side. That's why, look, if these demons want to wear their masks and suffocate and cause all sorts of respiratory damage, look, there's nothing you can do for them anyways. And for those people that are feeling really sad out there about, you know, the world right now, you should celebrate. This is the best thing that has happened, you know, for the truther movement since 9/11. It's waking up a lot of people. And it's putting an end to, you know, trivial social life, to trivial socialites, parasites, if you will. It's putting an end to the celebrity culture. It's putting an end to, you know, the confidence people place in their public officials. And if the mass indoctrination centers are shut down, that's a blessing. And, you know, if the major sources of injustice or secular activity are heavily impacted, like, you know, sporting events and the like, that's a win. Let people think about something else other than football. You know, and you see, you know, how the majority of the sheeple out there, they just worship their celebrities, they worship their athletes, they worship their politicians, you know, and all of that is fading away thanks to this virus. Now, what happens next is, you know, anyone's guess, but we're expected to participate in our destiny. And we know the difference between right and wrong out there. The question is, what are we willing to do about it? You know, these people are essentially raping your children, irradiating you, spraying you like bugs, infecting you with their virus like you're some kind of guinea pig or some kind of monkey in the lab. What are you going to do? And, you know, obviously, this is endless provocation, ladies and gentlemen. Eventually, people are going to snap. But what will you do? What's your plan? I want to give a big shout out to everybody in the audience. We're broadcasting live on the ScrewTube. Seems like a few of you found us. I want to give a big shout out to Plumber Works, Uncle Freddy, STX UFO Hunter, if I said that right. Annie, how you doing? Sally Sailor, Wild Fun Guy, T-Storm, Sammy, Loves Sophie. That's romantic. See, we need to promote heterosexual pride, ladies and gentlemen. Although, you know, anything that mentions the 7 deadly sins, like pride or envy, lust, and the like, that really can't be too kosher, if you will. Sophia from Sweden. Everybody wants to go to Sweden. If anybody's interested in being a tour guide in Sweden, let me know. Write me on the Twitter. Jaho, how you doing? Alien Hunter. Does it not look like an alien invasion out there? They're dropping their clones. They're MK Ultra on the TV. It's like They Live. And we're being genocided, terraformed, slow killed. In any case, the Bible tells us we're dealing with some kind of aliens, fallen angels or demons, whole mix of creatures out there. Creatures that must have technology much more sophisticated and advanced than ours. Creatures that can probably, you know, communicate and move around the speed of light, that can tell the future. We're dealing with a very formidable enemy that wants to doom humanity. That's the big picture. And how do you defeat an enemy that can tell the future? There's only one way. You want to know what the secret is? It's doing the right thing. Because at the end of the day, this is a constructed reality. This is an engineered world, and it's got rules like gravity, like thermodynamics, and most importantly, the rules in the Bible. And every program in this matrix operates under the law of the Bible, ladies and gentlemen. People often wonder, why do bad things happen to good people? They weren't following the rules. And whether it's a point system or, a different type of metric, that's the only way to really defeat the system. That's the only way to defeat the enemy. Remember when Jesus had fasted for 40 days in the wilderness and he was tempted by the devil? Every response Jesus gave was, "It is written. It is written." The sword of the Spirit, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing more powerful in your armory than the words in the Bible. And coming back to, those 40 days in the wilderness and the temptation, that tells you that the devil, the enemy, chooses your weakest moments to attack you. It's when you're most tired. It's when you've had a long day. It's when everything around you comes crashing down. That's when the devil strikes. And so you really never want to get into that position if you can help it. Never be desperate. Never be unstable. I know that sounds interesting. But you can bet, you can rest assured that when you hit, your weakest moments, the devil's there trying to tempt you. And, punching back, stabbing, shooting isn't going to make the situation better. The response is quite simply, "It is written." But you have to know the law. You have to love the law. You have to know the Bible by heart. And they have it on tape. We like the version that we've linked to in the video description. But know it better than your favorite song. How much time do you spend, watching TV, being on the internet? And how much time do you spend, saying your prayers, being thankful, reading the Bible? And, that tells you, a lot about, where you are and where you need to be. Imagine you got a girlfriend or a boyfriend, right? And they spend 99.9% of their time on their phone, the computer, talking to other people. And they spend just absolutely zero time talking to you. And then, these same people are like, how come I feel so alone? A relationship is, takes work, ladies and gentlemen. I think everybody should work on their relationship. And, the more time you spend researching what's in the Bible, the clearer things will become for you. And the easier things will become for you. Because the matrix is based upon that law. Guaranteed. Scientists are figuring that out as we speak. They're looking at the DNA of every life form on the planet, and it's engineered. It's got its own code, its own alphabet. It's a computer program, in a sense. It's like a computer program. But it's definitely information, and without it, there is no life. And those are just some of the clues. But once you understand that you live in a constructed reality, in a matrix, things begin to change. And when you start applying what's in the Bible, when you start leaving doubt behind, You'll start seeing glitches in the matrix. You'll start seeing revelation. Things will be revealed to you. But it's for those that earn it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the way this world works. And that's the way we've been reporting the news for years. And, you know, we're so ahead of the curve when it comes to what's going on out there. It's ridiculous. And people sometimes ask, you know, what's your secret, dude? What you seem to say, you know, comes true. And it's elementary, my dear Watson. It's right there in the Bible. It's the pages of the Bible playing out before your very eyes. You're seeing this beast system. You're seeing the mark of the beast. You're seeing New Babylon. You're seeing the bondage. You're seeing the heathens and the pagans and the sorcerers and the like. Suffer not a witch to live, ladies and gentlemen. One sinner destroyeth much good. And, you know, if we are going to tolerate every form of evil under the sun, then we should expect to carry our iniquity and not be surprised by what's going on. How many of you are surprised that it's starting to look more and more like hell on earth, more and more like the end of the world? Why are you surprised? We're allowing it to happen. It's like watching a fire start in your living room and you do nothing. You just sit there and watch. Maybe you take a picture and you put it on Facebook. Nobody will share it. But maybe somebody does. You know, maybe a couple people saw it. The fire keeps growing and you're like, maybe I should call 911. You know, I'll just sit here on the couch until they get here and rescue me. And that's essentially the attitude people have right now when it comes to what's going on. They're just watching the fire grow. And they're like, what can I do? I mean, it's a fire, you know, I don't want to get burned. I'm not a firefighter. You know, I ain't got no fire truck. And so people just kind of pass the buck and pass the responsibility to somebody else. And, you know, every minute that goes by, every day that goes by, every week that goes by, this fire keeps getting bigger. And, you know, the worst part is here is we've got literally fire starters, arsonists out there, setting fires, releasing viruses, irradiating people, killing them with ventilators. And it's become like a death factory, a concentration camp. An endless cycle of death, and people are just like, you know, standing in line waiting for the gas chamber. And the more you try and help these people, the more determined they become to stay in line. It's like poetic justice. And it's just like what the Bible tells you too. You know, seeing they can't see. Hearing they can't hear. They can't understand. And, you know, that's why the Bible is in parables. And the more time you spend, you know, reading the Bible, listening to the Bible, the more things make sense. And, you know, there's really nothing more you can say about it. Although, you know, there's an endless adventure there waiting for you. And the more you pay attention to creation, the more you understand about our Creator. And that's the purpose. It's a learning experience. You know? It's like being born again. Like being a child again. You're just learning everything all over again. Learning how to speak, how to act, how to eat, what to do. It's a discovery process. And it's the most fascinating adventure to be on. I can't imagine, you know, people that are wasting their time, you know, with sports and politics and the like. They're just wasting time. And they're missing out. What do you guys think out there? How's it going? Are we still alive? It looks like we're still alive. I want to say hi to everybody out there. Sally, Wilfred, T-Storm, Wild Fungi, Zion. How you doing? You guys are still here. So what are your plans for this dark winter? Ladies and gentlemen. What are your plans for this interstellar insurgency? What are your plans for the next election? What do you guys think? Who do you think is going to win the next election? Let's take a poll here. How many people think it's going to be creepy Biden and the Demoncrats? What are the odds right now? So, most of you are probably, hoping for the best. We'll have to see. Imagine if it's a total blowout. What are your plans? What are your plans? What are your plans? Run away? Where are you going to go? So we're just reading through the responses. There's a bit of a delay between what I say and what you type, but I can see it. Mel Gibson says, please profile me. Interesting. So most of you are thinking that Trump is going to win. And, we can hope, we can hope so. Certainly that would be better, but it would be more of the same. And look, we believe in being ruthlessly honest. And, the level of incompetence that we've seen in this administration is pretty disturbing. But knowing that a full-blown dementia case like Creepy Biden is gonna, sit there as a figurehead while all of the Demoncrats are, rampaging to basically snuff out Christianity in America. That's certainly not reassuring. But like we said earlier, the stack has been decked against Christians since the beginning in this country. It hasn't changed since 1776. The first presidents were Freemasons, and the solution they came up with back in the day was to make people think that they were free, And so the British disappeared and pretended like, America had won, but they just set up a puppet government instead. And, soon thereafter it was like, a giant pentagram, Washington, D.C., there's your capital, and the like. But that's how this, dark side works. They like to make you think that you're free. There's probably a lot of people out there that think they're free right now. And you're free to do as they tell you. You're free to be irradiated. You're free to go to work in some kind of, slave factory or be homeless, ladies and gentlemen. Not sure what the video guy is doing. But what a year. I mean, we've been covering this Wuhan supervirus for 7 or 8 months now. And, wow, look how time flies. It'll be 2021 before we know it. The election is only 90 some days away. They're saying that there's going to be no convention this year, pretty much. The nomination for President Trump is going to be held in secret. No media, no cameras. Usually, it's like the big convention, and it's live for a week. It's not even going to feel like an election. this year. November 3rd will be here before we know it. And they'll just announce their winner. They'll announce the next dictator. Whether it be, Von Trump or, creepy Biden. It's still the same, people in charge. And, sometimes the best move is not to play the game. How many people remember that movie War Games, back in the 80s with the Whopper supercomputer? It was like, do you want to play a game? And that's what this dark side offers you every day that you wake up. Imagine, it's like 8 a.m. or something and you wake up and you got your morning routine, whatever it might be, juice, coffee, cigarette, shower, right? And then you're ready to face the day. And then here comes the matrix. Here comes the temptation. What shall it be? The internet, going to work, hanging out at the beach. And, it cycles, it repeats. And the idea is, is for you never to see your way out of the maze, to never see past the illusion. And that's the real beauty of the matrix. Your city, becomes like your little world. Most people never go beyond the city limits. They never see what's behind the veil. And, that's part of, the experience. But as you play the game, you're just assured to lose. How many people remember going to the arcade as a kid? Anybody? You'd bring your quarters and, you'd never, beat the game with just one quarter, right? The game is set up for you to lose, game over, and then you got to put in another quarter. And then you could sit there all day like, a champion trying to beat the game. And look, maybe, some people do, level up and make it to the end. And then what happens? Right? Imagine you're on your PlayStation or your Xbox, right? And you got Call of Duty or some other game. And you beat the game, right? Then what happens? Then you're right back at the start screen. You're right back where you started. And you can play again, and you can waste another, 50 hours or 100 hours to beat the game again. But it's endless. And if you don't want that game, then you pick up another game and you start over. Another illusion. And as long as you're playing their games, you're never going to win. As long as you're fighting Republican, Democrat, you're never going to win. As long as you keep putting quarters, into the slot machine, you're never going to win. As long as you're, showing up on Facebook and checking in every day and liking and sharing, you're never going to win. As long as you're in their virtual world, playing their games, you're never going to win. And that's what people don't understand. The only weapon you have in this matrix is in the Bible. That's your foundation. That's your education. That in itself can change the world. And look, that's the reason we do this show. And we've reached over 1 billion people. Because, we're determined. The video guy is determined to win this war. And all it took was, just a bare bones computer and, free software and the Bible. And now, they're losing their minds. They're censoring everybody. They're unleashing their virus. It's the end of the world kind of thing for them. They've been exposed. People can see them for what they are. the Pizzagate, the pedophiles, the works, right? And, all it takes is just a person with the Bible, and everyone can do it. But if you're out there, trying to, win this war with sticks and stones or guns and knives, it's just not going to work. You can't, beat darkness with darkness. Only light can do that. And just a little bit of light. I mean, you can go into a pitch black room and just, add a little light, and all of a sudden the darkness disappears. That's the solution. It's been there the whole time. But people are like, how does it work? And, knowing the Bible by heart will show you the way. But, that's how we win this war. And you see what the libtards have done. They've basically, set up a system. They've set up institutions that are the antithesis of the Bible, right? And now they're able to mass produce heathens and libtards thanks to public schools and television. And they're able to keep, they're able to keep firm control of the minds of the many through their, programming. And, if we could change the code of their program and cut out all of the heathen, devolution, Luciferian ideology, and, paste the Bible in there, we could get our country back. We could get the happy days back. But if you know the Bible, you know that, we cannot tolerate evil to exist within our society. And so all of these people that are pushing, Sodom and Gomorrah, all of these people that are pushing, wickedness and evil as good, they must be deported. And if any of you are serious about, surviving what's coming next, you're going to be talking about Christian homeland until the end of your days. Wherever you go, you're going to be telling people about a Christian homeland that you grew up in. A world where you could leave your doors unlocked. A world where crackheads didn't exist. A world without masks. A world without 9/11. You'd be talking to people about the happy days, about Leave It to Beaver and the Brady Bunch, how they had the Bible in school. And that's what we're missing in our community. If you were serious about winning this war, you would be, living the Bible the best you could. And nobody's asking you to be perfect. There's no such thing as, a perfect human out there for the most part. But that's what it's going to take to win this war. Anything short of a Christian homeland is suicide. It's homicide. For you, for your kids, for your neighbors. And look, people right now are too stupid to understand what's going on and what they really need. They're never going to choose the right thing. It's like a heroin addict. And you can offer them a plate of, fruit and vegetables and all sorts of things that are good for them. Tell them how organic it is. But until you get them off that crack, until you get them off that drug, things aren't ever going to change. And so, the majority of people out there are not in a position to choose what's best for themselves, unfortunately. Because if they could do that, they would have done that. And so, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty. But we're going to see this system buckle. We're going to see this system basically implode. And it's going to look like a communist revolution out there. And they're going to try and impose their will on you. And they're going to say, if you don't accept their mark of the beast, then you'll be excluded from their society. And so, things are going to, become warlike out there, and people should prepare. But if you're going to war, you might as well have an objective. And that objective is a Christian homeland. Ladies and gentlemen. Not sure what else to say, but everyone should embrace, what's happening right now. And if the enemy wants to commit suicide and the like, don't stand in the way. Because this is a war. And, everything is happening with purpose. So prepare for what happens next. And over the next, few months, we expect things to degenerate significantly. And we'll really begin to see what is going to happen next. But prepare for this dark winter, for the elections, for the civil war, for the lockdowns, the goon squads, for the plandemic. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. And feel free to reach out to us on the Twitter. Details are in the video description. Be sure to check out our backup page on Facebook, STFN Reloaded. That has a pretty complete archive of the videos out there. And while you're on the Facebook page, say hi to our administrator, Bella. Send a message, say hi, Bella. Especially if you're from Australia. So we're looking to, get people involved over there. Because, they're not even free. They don't celebrate an Independence Day. And they don't have guns, and, right now they're just being raped. Raped by a system, and they have no defense. So see if we can help these people find their way. But we're all being victimized, ladies and gentlemen. Till the next time, if you're listening to this,